The title race has officially swung, with Lando Norris taking just a 1-point lead in this Drivers' Championship battle, with Oscar Piastri in second and Max Verstappen continuing to claw away at this Drivers' Championship battle. He is just 36 points back with just 4 races to go. Let's start with Lando Norris. What an impressive weekend from Norris. We have to start with that qualifying lap that he pumped in on Saturday, because that was so impressive what he was able to do. One of the things that's really tricky with this track is that the more downforce you put on, it actually really doesn't help all that much, considering how high altitude we are at this moment. So the car, it really slides around underneath you as a driver a lot. To have the confidence to really take it through some of the sections that are here, like the S section that is very fast, very demanding, and very high speed, I thought Norris was extremely confident in these sections, and I think that is the one where differentiates between what Lando can do and what, at this moment, Oscar Piastri can do. We'll get into that in just a second, but I wanted to talk just a little bit more about that lap from Lando on Saturday. It was interesting to learn that he actually doesn't even use the lap delta on his steering wheel. So lap delta is essentially, for a driver, as you're doing a push lap, as you're doing any kind of lap out on a racetrack, on your steering wheel, you will get sector times. Are you up in the sector? Are you down in the sector? Are you even in the sector? And then it gives you your overall lap time when you cross the start-finish straightaway. For Norris, he actually doesn't use any of this technology anymore. He stopped using the lap delta back in Monaco. For Lando, it was about trying to focus on the lap, feel more like he was in the moment, extracting everything he could from the race car in that moment, instead of referencing lap delta, looking down, lap delta, where am I on the delta, coming out of each mini sector as well. And I think for Norris, that's really starting to work, because it paid off in dividends here on Saturday for qualifying. Moving into the race, it was interesting with the tire strategy, because I had felt that they most likely would have ran the mediums first before then swapping over to the softs. But to see that the top 4 had started on softs, including Lando himself, was really interesting. It showed that he had a lot of confidence in taking that tire a long distance. And McLaren felt that the soft tire was actually going to be the better tire at the same time. It was interesting to note all of that. And I think for Lando, just keeping his head down and staying focused off the start and not getting overtaken heading into turn 1, which would have been a little detrimental to his race, I feel, if Charles Leclerc was able to get by him. However, Lando just coming away dominating this entire race. As for Oscar Piastri, just a real struggle this weekend. It's been a tough few races for Piastri, and Mexico is a track that Piastri has struggled at in the past, so it's not new. However, with Piastri and how he's been able to learn over the last few seasons, he's really taken a lot of these tracks that have been his weaknesses and he's turned them into his strengths. And I'm quite surprised that he wasn't able to do that here this weekend. It was interesting, I heard from Andrea Stella, we were speaking a little bit about Oscar and Lando and the difference between the two of them here in Mexico. And one of the things that Stella had pointed out was the fact that Lando was able to handle the car a lot differently than what Oscar could when it was sliding. He felt that when the car has a lot of grip, when there's a lot of downforce on the car, and you can really feel what the car is doing and it provides so much grip, that's where Piastri is at his strongest. Where Lando, on the other hand, seems to be at his strongest when the car does slide around a lot, where a lot of downforce doesn't really do much for him at all. And I think also for Piastri, is this pressure really starting to get to him, because he has gone south so quickly, just such a young, talented driver. I didn't expect to see him cough up this championship lead. However, psychologically, does that change things for Piastri moving forward? Not necessarily being the one that is being hunted, but the one that is doing the hunting. These next 4 races for Oscar Piastri are going to be extremely fascinating to watch, as the other driver who is chasing them coming from behind is Max Verstappen. who's been in this position before. He knows how to win championship battles. 4-time Formula One world champion Max Verstappen did an incredible job here on Sunday, trying to keep that soft tire alive for as long as he could. I heard from Max following this one, and yes, he did think that soft tire stint was going to be tricky, but just able to really maximize that stint and go as long as he could and still have the pace to catch Charles Leclerc to try and pull off a move before we got the VSC, which Max actually wasn't really frustrated about at all. I asked him about it, and he had said that, he's gotten lucky with the safety car before in the past, and he wasn't that upset about that VSC. However, I think for Charles Leclerc, may have gotten a little lucky with that VSC because I think Max was coming for him. If we take a look at what Verstappen has done since Zandvoort, I feel that the momentum clearly does still reside with Max Verstappen. Even though he did take a small chunk out of that championship lead, he still took a chunk out of it as we get ready to head to Brazil, where this extremely exciting drivers' battle continues. I have to say that this is probably one of the most exciting drivers' championship battles that I have seen since Max Verstappen won his first title back in 2021.